Hi, this is Garibay, and today I want to talk about American entertainment industry, the power of American celebrity, and how American big screen and American small screen carry three elements to the world. All right, and how all this, of course, crosses over and actually impacts very directly American politics. All right, so I come from the supposition that American entertainment, American celebrity specifically, is the most powerful force in the world right now. It's quickly, I think it's either equal or slightly. I would say it's 1% ahead of monetary power now. And I actually bring Donald Trump into this. He's an American celebrity who turned into very directly the American president, right? So I don't think, and frankly, he had a lot more celebrity than he had money. There's this big question on if he was even a billionaire. Right, so he was not one of the richest men in the world, but he had more celebrity than other American wealthy people. And when it came time to seize the American presidency through winning the election, he was able to leverage his American celebrity to do that. But American celebrity carries very distinct messages through the world, through the American entertainment industry. And I also believe that this has, just quickly overtaken and replaced our traditional, what people think are very powerful and very important, what people think are very powerful and very important American industries, which would be like steel and oil and tech. And the reality is, I really think American celebrity, American entertainment has become much more important. I'm also a little frustrated because I don't think the world understands this. I think academia is not anywhere near this. And even data scientists who drive, polling and things like this just isn't on their radar at all. They don't really think about entertainment as a power base, as a tool America could use as a force for momentum for overall American industry, right? Which is really unfortunate, because I think we're going to lose a lot of opportunities because entire, not even just industries, but entire bodies of knowledge don't understand this. And those two currently are academia overall, and also the media that doesn't even really understand the power of itself, with very few exceptions. But let's talk about what what does American entertainment, American celebrity carry to the world? Well, it carries three things, right? It carries message, narrative, and culture, okay? We're going to actually talk about culture first. So when we have a show that we're putting out to the world, by the way, American entertainment and American celebrity, American entertainment is larger than all the entertainment industries of every other country in the world, and then you can multiply those other countries. If you took every other country's entertainment industry in the world, right, and put them all together and times them by 10, they'd still be massively behind the American entertainment industry. That's how powerful the American entertainment industry is, and how far ahead it is, right? So basically, one of the things that the big American big screen and American small screen carries is it carries culture, right? So what do I mean by this? Well, the way Americans wear makeup, the clothes Americans wear, the way we comb our hair, the way we speak, the speed we speak at, our mixture of humor. Like what's appropriate to joke about, what's not. Massive elements and aspects of culture, right, that Americans hold on to are really are carried to the rest of the world by small screen and big screen, right? And this is a really big deal because it means that basically the way people wear their hair, the way they do their makeup, the way they wear their clothes, right? Those things from other countries, they don't flow to us. Ours flows to them, right? And the rest of the world is quickly adopting our culture, right? If not our politics, if not our language. Actually, they are. Much of the world really is adopting our language, right? That's another thing. It carries our language, which is an aspect of our culture. Right, and so it's just, it's really, really, really incredible how powerful this cultural aspect is. Now, I do want to say, culture is a free rider, okay? So culture, what do I mean by it's a free rider? Well, Hollywood, by the way, all this I'm talking about is at the Hollywood level, right? There is Hollywood television, there's Hollywood movies, right? Generally, when we're talking about Hollywood, we're talking about the West Coast, and a lot of people would call that the left coast, right? And it's a distinct thing, right? So Hollywood really doesn't care about spreading American culture to the world. It's not a goal. It's a free rider. It's simply there because they're telling a story, and when Hollywood tells a story, they want their actors and actresses to be winsome, right? They want people to see there's going to be no middle ground. They want the viewers to either love or hate everybody on the screen, right? And they will craft these characters through character design to accomplish this distinct goal, right? Very, very interesting. So let's talk about message and narrative. Talk about narrative next. Narrative is the story that you're telling with small screen and big screen. And every show, every movie has a story, right? And narrative is really important. Now, narrative is incredibly important because if you're, there's a few exceptions, but generally, if your story is absolute junk, people are going to get bored with it quick and they're not really going to like it. You need a dramatic, compelling story that will draw people back in with changes and surprises and drama, right? And humor, and it's got to move quick. It's got to change. It's got to be a roller coaster ride. There's got to be denouements. There's got to be peaks. There's got to be valleys, right? The narrative is the story, and it's what draws people to entertainment, and it's what keeps them there, right? Even more so than the celebrities, in my opinion, than the actors, right? And it's really important, all right? Now, we've just talked about narrative, right? And Hollywood wants a powerful narrative, an important narrative. Actually, that's a wrong word. They want a really compelling narrative, an exciting narrative, an entertaining narrative, a fun narrative, okay? Now, let's talk about message. What is message? Message is distinct from culture, and it is distinct from narrative, okay? Narrative is the exciting story you're telling, the compelling story you're telling, the emotional story you're telling, okay? But message is these things that are in your heart and in your mind. They usually exist in the heart and mind of the writer and the director, and to some extent the actors, but to much less extent the actors. The actors actually matter the least when it comes to message, okay? So what is the message part? How does that circle in, right? Well, the message part is really, really incredible. All right, so a perfect example of a message that Hollywood has carried for no less than 40 years, for 4 decades, is climate change bad, right? So they're saying, hey, the Earth's melting, polar bears are dying, and we're all, the world's only going to last till 2050. Oil is running out, and fossil fuels are no good, and we really need to fight climate change, and everybody needs to eat hummus and no more meat, and you need to buy an electric car, and you need to wear Birkenstock sandals and not get 20 pairs of sneakers, and you can't really have a big block pickup. That's climate change, and that is a message. That is a powerful message, and it is a message that Hollywood believes in very, very strongly, right? They are passionate about this message, and they're saying, hey, we want people to understand this message, and we want them to buy into this message, and we want everybody eating hummus, no more buying electric cars, and and owning 3 pairs of clothing and 2 pairs of shoes, right? That's climate change, right? That's saying we need to really actively fight climate change every step of the way. That's message, right? And it really has nothing to do with our culture, and it has nothing to do with narrative. Even more than having nothing to do with narrative, Hollywood has learned a powerful, powerful lesson recently, right? Which is that message usually really, really messes up your narrative for a lot of viewers, if not all viewers, right? So for many viewers, they may not agree with your message at all, and it will really disconnect them from your narrative if you keep pushing your message in your story, right? So they might disagree with your message on face value and say, no, I totally disagree. I don't like what you're saying at all about this. No, I reject, hard reject, right? So that's one thing that you can get, that can happen when you're doing these narratives, right? So you have this issue that we just talked about, right? And then and then let's say some of your viewers are actually bought into your message, right? And they actually care about your message and they agree with you on the message. It still screws up the narrative. They're like, how many times are you going to tell me a disaster story, and the source is, and I'm going to have to watch, professors and, people who care about animals tell me that, I ate too many cheeseburgers and I drove a big box pickup truck, and this tidal wave is going to hit New York because I didn't hug the earth enough, right? Well, actually, no. So actually, they're like, oh, I'm totally down with that message, but this is the 25th time I've seen this, this reason. Come on, like, this is a trope. You're giving me the same thing. It's just repetitive, right? So even if they agree with you, it will screw up your narrative just based on repetitiveness, right? Very, very interesting. And so I really think it's fascinating that we're coming to a point where we're realizing message is distinct from narrative, and it's distinct from culture. And there is just example after example after example of people of directors, writers, actors, who said message is first, message is most important, and they are done now, right? And the reality is when it comes to Hollywood, they are realizing they want to create a great piece of art that people really want to watch, right? Not that they feel great about, not that they carried their message away, that they really enjoyed, and then they want to see more work from you, right? So you could salt, the message has to be the spice, it can't be the main course. And increasingly, actors and directors and writers that make the message the main course, right, rather than the narrative the main course, they're losing jobs and they're going away and they're falling away. And the reason why is there's just so much content now that only the cream rises to the top. And there's a lot of cream. There's a lot of good content. And this is really becoming pretty incredible because, your stuff had better be top notch if it's going to float to the top, right? And so we've really arrived at this point where message really needs to be balanced with narrative, and with has to be very carefully balanced with narrative and with you really have to be very careful because your message has to be salted in with narrative and with culture, right? And anybody who makes a mistake and does not do this correctly, they find themselves in a lot of trouble in Hollywood, right? So I'll give you the magic numbers. I think this has been going on for a decade or two, right? And I think the right mix is 70% narrative, 20% culture, right? And then 10%, and actually, that 20% of culture is going to be there. Like, it's just going to be there. You can't really remove it. It's part of who and what we are, right? So the mix has got to be 70% narrative and 10% message. And when you get, 40, when you get 40, 40, 20, that director's never going to make another piece. That writer's never going to get to do another test script, or they're never going to get to write another script. Now, actually, I should correct that. They're probably going to be able to get to do this 2 or 3 times, maybe. And if you win an Oscar, well, then you can do it for the rest of your career. You can just jam as much message content in as you want, right? So that is a pretty significant change. But I think overall, and the reason why we should be paying attention to this is American celebrity and American entertainment is so very, very close to American politics now. We have an American celebrity as our president. If you're not understanding that American celebrity is just so tied to American politics now, you're not paying attention. But it's incredibly important. And I think it's really interesting to take a minute and talk about this because Hollywood really wants to deliver their message, but you can tell they are very much getting the idea that message had better be no more than 10% of what they're saying. And I think there's been a lot of times where they made this mistake and they paid for it financially. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.